Guys, welcome back to day 2 of our conference. I'm going to just get our slide deck up here and we will kick things off. Okay, so thank you guys for being here. I am Bree Kruder. I am the Executive Vice President of ProLink. I'm today's host, kicking us off with Connor McKenna for this first session of our day. This is day 2 of ProLink Technology Live. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's sessions and had a chance to interact with your fellow attendees and ProLinkers as well. Day 1 of Tech Live was structured largely around our development functionality, and today is going to be structured more around compliance and asset management. The session you've joined today is called Procorem Inspect, and it's going to be led by Connor McKenna, who is our Director of Product Strategy at ProLink. Connor guides product direction and partners closely with the product and sales team, leads AI-driven initiatives to enhance our internal processes and power customer-facing capabilities as well. So he's been incredibly involved in our Procorem Inspect product, as well as other initiatives that we've taken to just kind of improve the tools that we already have in ProLink. Before we start this session off, I'd like to just take a couple minutes to cover some housekeeping items in case you were not with us yesterday. So first we have our chat at the top right-hand side of your screen. You can see the chat feature. If you click that chat icon on the right-hand side, you can start chatting with your fellow attendees. And please feel free to post any questions or comments during the session on that chat. We will try to provide responses individually or immediately during the session or follow up individually after. And then please note that your responses or messages through the chat are visible to all attendees. Many sessions for ProLink Technology Live will also have poll questions, but some of them do not. So it's kind of a mix there. And then as far as our post goes, you can see that right below the chat icon, you have access to the poll feature. That's where the poll questions will be displayed one by one. You'll have a number of seconds, to respond to those poll questions before the answers are posted. And we encourage you to participate in that. And then lastly, I just want to call attention to the resources icon on your menu. So that is where you can download a copy of the materials for this session. You can do this before, during, or after the conference session. And so just keep that in mind and feel free to refer back to those or share those within your organization. And now I think I will pass things off to Connor to get us started. So Connor, you can go ahead and take over screen share.
Thanks, Bree. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take over sharing. Okay, and we're off. Like Bree said, my name is Connor McKenna. I'm the Director of Product Strategy here at ProLink Solutions, and I've been pretty heads down on Procorem Inspect along with a lot of our team. So we're really excited to present this to you. Let's go ahead and jump in and get started. We'll talk about what we're going to talk about. Oh, this is the wrong thing. 1 second. Give me just a second. Sorry.
Yeah, Connor, you should be able to skip ahead.
Oh, I see you added those slides. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So first I want to talk about the Procorem Inspect story, kind of how we got started, and then what we've built. And then there's some new features coming out that we are really excited about, especially for HFAs, on property-specific items for an inspection. And then custom templates, including file reviews when you're out there doing your inspection. Go ahead and jump in. So this all started at our 2024 ProLink user conference, which some of you may have attended. And initially, this is when, you know, everyone's kind of gearing up for Inspire, the new Inspire standards, which are just starting right now this month, October 2025, you know, to be enforced. And we really needed to come up, you know, because we were coming from React, we needed to come up with a good way to enforce or you know, have the Inspire standards in our inspections. And you know, in our research, a lot of people are using Excel spreadsheets, they were using pen and paper. This was all different. There are, you know, new guidelines here. And so, you know, based on that user conference, that feedback, we wanted to come up with a, you know, more easy, intuitive solution for these Inspire standards, right? So that's what we did. So our first step here was we partnered with you know, a lot of the agencies on this call. We partnered with different beta clients, we called them, to provide the best user experience possible. So you know, we we went over, because we aren't inspectors ourselves, right? So we needed to talk to the people that were actually out there doing the inspection. So we came up with some initial designs that we thought would be easy to you know, easy to use and add a lot of value while they're out there, you know, while the inspectors out there doing and conducting the inspection. However, we needed to talk to, so we partnered with around 11 different agencies as beta clients and received a ton of different feedback and trial as they were out there testing our application or just talking through the different problems that they see on a day-to-day, things that would be nice. And one thing about, you know, affordable housing and light tech is each of the agencies is different, right? Every state's different. They do things differently. And so that was one you know, I guess problem that we were trying to tackle, or we've been trying to tackle, is okay, well, how do we create a solution that's dynamic enough where each state can kind of, you know, conduct their own inspections in their own way, or each agency can conduct their own inspections in their own way, but also create one application so we don't have to rebuild, you know, a bunch of different applications that cater to each different state. And so that was a lot of what we wrestled with over this last year. So far, I think it's come out great. We've added lots of different features, pretty feature rich application, while also you know, while also keeping it as a small, you know, app, an easy to use, intuitive application that's not, you know, overbearing, right? So I just like to do a quick shout out to all those beta clients and say thank you. You know, your feedback was invaluable in reviewing and designing our, you know, our first product here with Procorem Inspect. All right, so now we're going to jump into what we built. And I'm really excited about this October release. So today is October 22nd. We have the newest version in production now. So I think that would be version 502. And we added a lot of cool features into this one. Some of the main features that we just added. If you are already using Procorem Inspect, you'll know this. If you're not yet, then it's on the App Store under Procorem Inspect app, and same thing in the Google Play Store. But we added in-app reporting, so able to generate those reports, you know, exigent and your full inspection reports right there in the application, on site, whether you're online or offline. And then also adding different area level notes and photos that aren't just associated with a finding. So if you are in a like vacant unit, then you want to take a photo, show that you inspected that vacant unit, even though everything was fine. you know, you can do that. And then also adding different attendees and recording those attendees that are on the inspection with you. So there are other features that we added too. I'll dig into those when we go through our demo. Okay, so now we're going to enter in our live demo phase. So one thing I'm going to go over first is Procorem and how it relates to Procorem Inspect. And this is going to be just really quick. I just think it's easier if I you know, show how the different applications relate to each other. So that'd be Procorem, ProLink HFA, and Procorem Inspect. So I'm going to exit right here, and then you'll see I'm signed into Procorem right now. Okay. And then right here, you see this UAT Finance Agency right here. This is my account that I'm assigned in Procorem Inspect, right? So this is how I use the same login information. If I jump into here, and we can have our beta clients like I was talking about. So you'll see, you know, a list of different people that used our beta client program. But this is how you know what properties in your portfolio you have access to. So you might have multiple accounts in Procorem, each one correlating to their own properties, or you might only have one account that correlates with your agency. And that's how your Procorem Inspect knows that this user has access to your portfolio. So it's really the handshake between Procorem Inspect, Procorem, and then ProLink HFA, right? So I just wanted to show that real quick. Now I'm going to jump into HFA. So in HFA, I'm signed in into the UAT instance, into that UAT Housing Finance Agency. And I have these this property here called Garden Court Apartments, right? And I'm selected into that property. So this property, since I'm assigned to it, I'm able to view it and pull that information into Procorem and Inspect, right? So you'll see here, because you can do a lot, pretty much all of this stuff in HFA. You'll see if I go down into this property, I jump to assigned users, you'll see Connor Procorem here, okay? And Connor Procorem is the same user that I'm signed in. Let's see. Show might make me re-sign in. Yeah, Connor Procorem is the same user I'm signed in here in Procorem, okay? So that's how it knows that, okay, you know, you use these credentials, this user has access to this property, Garden Court Apartments. Okay, and now I'm going to jump into inspections. There's 32 of them. I just wanted to showcase this because this is all about doing different inspections, right? So we have a general inspection over here for this property, and I think this is the right one. Let's jump into here and let's go. I want to check. Okay, this is not the right one. 1 second. This is the right one. So this is where, you know, if you wanted to create a new inspection, you could. I'm not going to dig into this very much, but one thing that I wanted to show you is the areas side. So you'll see these different areas, you know, that are already created where you're adding your building area or your unit areas for inspections. So this is going to be populated on the application, which I'll show you. You can add areas within the Procorem Inspect app too, but if you wanted to like pre-plan, you can add areas in bulk, like unit areas in bulk here. I also already started this inspection, so if you click on findings, here's your list of findings that I've already found. And then you can also have, any files that you might have uploaded, and you can generate your reports up here too, your inspection findings report, and your exigent inspection findings report. So I just want to demonstrate. So all this information, just the areas, the property, building unit information, comes from HFA, right? So Procorem is where it's kind of your handshake, your credentials. Use those same credentials to sign into Procorem Inspect. Whichever account you're assigned to here, it might be multiple. That will tie you to the portfolio that you have access to in HFA, and then that's the data that populates the application. Okay, so I hope that is clear to everyone. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing here. And now I'm going to share on my iPad and we'll jump into the application. Okay, so you should be able to see my broadcast now. Let me just pop this open and bring up the app. Okay, so this is my initial login here. Like I said, I'm going to be testing this UAT environment, and I'm going to use the same login credentials that I used to log into Procorem. I can just use this passwords feature, jump in here, and that should pre-populate. Go ahead and click continue. Okay, so one thing I'm going to demonstrate here is I'm actually going to delete all the data and log out, because I want to show you something really quick. But this is kind of your main view, landing screen here that shows your different inspections that you have scheduled. And we'll see this in just a second, but let me go to settings. I'm going to click delete all data to just reset. And that'll log me out. Okay. Now let's go to passwords. I'm going to re-log in here. So that'll work. So this is where when you initially log in for the first time, this is where it's going to ask you, which Procorem account, right, you are associated, did you want to use, that user is associated with. So you might have multiple. More than likely, you'll probably only have one. But this is the same UAT Housing Finance Agency Procorem account, that I was logged into a second ago in Procorem. That I just demonstrated, and that was tied to those properties in HFA. So we'll go ahead and select that account. I'm just going to import data to this device. Okay, import successful. So at first, it's not going to have any inspections here. I'm going to need to fetch existing inspections. There's a few ways to do that. So I can click this button here to click fetch it to fetch existing inspections. That'll just bring, you're able to type in search. We'll type in garden, find inspections, and this will give me those different inspections for that property. You can use your HFA number, city, zip code. There's lots of or inspections assigned to the inspector. But you can also start a new inspection. You can select any property that's assigned to you. Right now, I just have these 3 properties assigned to me in that HFA or UAT Housing Finance Agency account. One of those is Garden Court Apartments. I also have this demo here. So I can start a new one as well. and I can go ahead and scroll down. I can select which type, lender, more inspection tax credit, react, general inspection. We'll go ahead and do general. Any inspection notes that you want to add here. These are, you can edit these as you do your inspection, add more notes, kind of tell a story if you'd like. And it will be added to the report on the inspection findings report as well. But what I really want to show you here is the easiest way, I think, is I can click on this hamburger menu, jump into manage properties. Okay. And then I can select, oh, here's Garden Court Apartments. These are the different properties that I'm assigned to. Just like I showed you in HFA, I'm an assigned user to these properties. It's not going to pull down your entire portfolio. Okay. And we've had questions as to why, some of our beta clients have asked, well, it'd be nice if it pulled down the whole portfolio so you could just, start an inspection. Now, that does sound nice. However, a lot of these portfolios are, there could be 1,000 properties, right? So as you add more properties that you're assigned to, it pulls all of that and all the building unit information, property building unit information data into the app as well. And so this app it's run locally, right? On your tablet, on your phone. And so as you add more properties, it becomes to be so much data that it really slow down the application, which is why we only pull properties that you are assigned to. So that's why it doesn't pull your entire portfolio. Now, it's really easy to assign people, different properties that they're going to go out to inspect. But I just wanted to clarify that right here. So these are the ones that I'm assigned to within my portfolio, and I could always go into HFA and assign myself to more properties. But we'll go ahead and click on Garden Court Apartments here. So this is your kind of property overview page. I'll have some high level information about the property at the top. Garden Court Apartments, HFA number, your multi-family property of type, the address it's on. We'll have your inspections. It still hasn't fetched those inspections yet. I can fetch existing inspections here, and then it'll automatically fetch all the ones currently going on. I'm going to select this one and click fetch. And it'll fetch that inspection. And it'll jump me into this inspection overview page. But before we dig into here, there's a few more things I wanted to show you. Okay, so I'm back into the Garden Court Apartments property overview page. You can see this had no inspections in it. I just fetched this inspection, so now it's populated here. You're also able to start a new inspection from this page. Now, below here is going to give me a list of the different buildings on this property, right? So it's going to show all of these different buildings. If there's a type added, number of stories, if that's added, data in HFA. So this is all pulling from HFA, right? And then it enables me to click in. You can see this little arrow that tells you can click in. So if I'm interested, okay, well, there's this property. I'm going to click in. Okay, it's got these different units in it. It's got this amount of square feet. So if you didn't pre-populate the different areas that you're going to inspect in HFA, which I showed you earlier in the beginning of the presentation, you can see the property information here in the application and kind of plan out, oh, I want to inspect unit 262. I want to make sure I hit that unit for some, particular reason, or You know, same thing, you know, I want to make sure I hit these specific buildings before you go out there. And so when you start a new inspection, you can add those units and add those areas, right? Okay, so we'll go ahead and jump into this inspection now. Okay, so just by clicking that inspection, you'll bring me to this inspection overview page. So since we pre-populated the different areas, the unit areas here, and then some inside areas and the outside areas in HFA, this is what, you know, you'll see. You'll see, you know, a big, you know, or as many units as you selected in HFA, right? Maybe it's 20% of the units, etc. Already populated. Now, if I click into one of these areas, it'll show me the you know the line items for going through the Inspire inspection. However, at the top, you'll see some more, you know, high level information about the inspection here. I can always click to manage property, which will bring me back to this property overview page. And then I could also always click edit details here, and I can add any inspection notes. You know, so I can type in, you know, routine, you know, inspection, every 3 years or something along those lines, whatever you want as notes. You can also tell a story. So a second time viewing the property, you know, what it's like when you showed up. You can always use talk to text. I have my iPad muted right now, so I'm not going to use talk to text, but it's really nice when you're out there on site to use talk to text. Just be careful because it listens to everything you say. So make sure you turn it on and off, you know, at appropriate times. And then we'll go ahead and save these details here. So I just want to demonstrate that you can edit details, you can add kind of a little story, some paragraphs maybe to the inspection on the inspection level. Now on the unit level, you can do a lot of the same things. So instead of clicking into this unit here, I'm gonna jump in here and I'm gonna say edit details in photos. Okay, so on this page, you know, I can select a different inspector. Right now we've got Brian Procorem inspecting this. I can change the occupancy status. So I could say, oh, this unit was vacant, maybe. Maybe we'll say it was vacant, right? In the unit status, we'll click here and we'll say it's ready for rent. Okay, so maybe this is one of those units where, you know, I want to show that I inspected the unit, but there were no findings, you know. So what we can do here is we can type in like, you know, the unit was recently moved out of, it's in great condition and ready to be moved to. Okay, and then we can take a photo or you can select from gallery. I'm just going to demonstrate taking a photo right now. It's just going to be of like my office wall. I just want to show that you can, you know, add a photo here. So we'll go ahead and take a photo, take a picture of the wall. We'll use that photo. And then it'll be added there. And you can add more photos if you'd like, or you can delete photos as well. And we'll go ahead and click Save Area. So those are added as notes, you know, now to this area, right? And maybe I'll jump into here and I'll click Complete. And I'll complete that area. There are no findings at all. Okay. Moving forward, I wanted to show you can also add a new area here. So maybe I can't access unit 273 for some reason, and I want to make a note of that. And I could say, oh, here, we already populated this. So I said it was occupied, it's been pre-leased, and I couldn't enter the unit, all right, for 273. So I was planning on inspecting this area, but since I could enter the unit, they're not going to be in the inspection. So that's fine. Save area. But on the fly, I can just click, add a new area here, right? And I can select maybe instead of 273, I gotta use my finger to scroll through these. I can do 274. Go ahead and select that. And we'll say this one is occupied as well. And we'll say it's pre-leased. And any notes here, and I say, ad hoc, ad hoc unit, couldn't enter unit 273. So if that happens, which I'm sure it does, while you're doing the inspection, then you can go ahead and, add a different unit there. Go ahead and add this one. And once you add one, it's going to jump you right into the inspection. Okay. So for that area. So this is out of the box. It's the Inspire Standards template. What we've done is we've broken the different line items into categories. So right now here we have like a bathroom category, a ceiling category, cabinet and storage. I'm not going to go through all of them. There's quite a few. Some have a lot more line items than others. For instance, fire and safety. Now, if I click into a specific category, it's going to show all the different line items right in that category. So for fire extinguisher, say fire extinguisher pressure gauge reads over or undercharged. Fire extinguisher service tag is missing, illegible, or expired. So I'll go through all of these, and it jumps into smoke alarms here. Smoke alarm is not installed where required. So if I add a finding, it will do no findings here, right? And we'll add a finding to this tag. So when you click add a finding, this stuff Inspire Standards, this is going to be pre-populated, right? It's going to have life-threatening for you. It's going to have the correction time frame in days is 1. It's going to have which building and unit it was. Now, one note I want to say, and we'll get to this, later on in the presentation, is we do offer custom templates. So you can clone the Inspire Standards and then you can tweak them. You could add, different line items, or really the point I want to make here is that you could change these. You could change the classifications. Maybe your agency has a different correction time frame. I don't know why you changed inspectable area, but you could if you wanted to. So there's, you can change these to meet your needs. And then you can also add on or completely change the inspection to do a whole different type of inspection if you'd like. Now you can, type in location. We'll just say, this was in the kitchen. Any notes like, need new, fire extinguisher here. Take any photos like I showed before. And then down here, it's also going to be pre-populated. So the due date is going to be 1 day from today, because this is actually a life-threatening item. And so due to Inspire Standards, the correction time frame is going to be 1 day from today, 24-hour period, right? So you can also show maybe in your exigent report, which I'll show in a minute, you know, you can, if it's a multi-day inspection, you might generate that exigent report on the first day, say, hey, you know, you had a couple of fire extinguisher issues, please correct these. They'll correct them. And then, you know, the next day you can mark these, oh, this was corrected on the 23rd. So we're looking good. There's also, this is one of my favorite features, is the show additional details button. So with the Inspire standards coming in, I think it's really difficult or unrealistic to expect, you know, all the compliance officers out there to memorize all of the different line items and how to inspect them, how to observe them. So we have this little tooltip here, show additional details, and this will give you some information that you can use while you're going step by step, you know, through each line item. It'll say the different criteria. So, oh, the date on the service tag, any fire extinguisher has exceeded 1 year, or that, which I didn't realize, or the fire extinguisher tag is missing or illegible, or a non-chargeable or disposable fire extinguisher is more than 12 years old based on manufacture date. So it gives a lot more detail rather than just like the initial description of the line item. Um, It'll help you to, you know, help tell you what to look for. So, you know, look at a chargeable fire extinguisher and verify the date on the service tag, and then any additional information associated with that finding. So this is really, really helpful if you're someone like me, who doesn't have a photographic memory. Then I think it's really nice to be able to, you know, show these additional details and walk you through, you know, how you inspect each finding. Especially, this might be, you know, this is one of many, right? But there's some easier line items, and then there's some harder line items as well to inspect. So on some of those harder ones, this might come in handy. It'll also show you, you know, which tools are required, right? So if there's any, this is none, or any useful equipment, maybe a flashlight, a tape measure, things like that, you know, so you can make sure you have those tools available. So we'll go ahead and save this finding here. Actually, you know what? I am going to add a photo real quick. I'm just going to take a quick photo here of the wall again. Wish I had something on that wall. I need some art on that wall of a fire extinguisher. I need a picture of a fire extinguisher on that wall for this finding. um, so go ahead and save that. Now on the rest here, I can, you know, go through and click no findings if I don't have anything else. Adding a finding is, you know, the same process I just went through, so I'm not gonna go through that over and over again. But if you're done here and everything else looks good, instead of clicking on everything, that's fine. You can just back out. And then this is going to be recorded. It'll be 2 no findings, you know, 1 findings, and it'll give you this notification that, you know, one of those findings is critical. And I can just move on. You can see 3 out of 12 were completed. That's okay that I only did 3 out of 12. I'll show you in a second how, you know, this will auto complete those if you're done. So maybe we'll look at the floor and we'll say, oh, you know what? There's nothing going on with the floor. The floor looks good. You can click no findings here, and that'll automatically mark those 2 line items as no findings. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. And I can kind of move through my inspection like that, jumping in and adding findings when I need to. Another cool piece about, you know, the custom templates is maybe I have accessibility or features and amenities that I need to add to a specific property for any specific reason. Well, you know, you can clone the Inspire standards. It'll already come out of the box with all these different line items. but I can also add line items to this unit area. So maybe at the bottom, I can have some, another category called accessibility, and it'll have my different line items for accessibility there. But yeah, this is one of the better features we like, easy to use. We've gotten a lot of good feedback on adding no findings. The other thing is if you're done, you can just click complete area here, and it'll tell you, are you sure you want to complete this area? All the remaining items will be marked as no observed findings. You can go ahead and click complete, and that'll mark everything else. So this fire and safety, instead of 3 of 12 completed, right, it'll say 12 of 12. It'll automatically mark up, 11 no findings, and then that one critical finding. Now, we are in the process of putting together, some metrics so that people can see, hey, how long did a specific inspector, spend out on a property, just to keep everyone honest here. We like this feature. We don't think it's necessary for everyone to click through every single line item. Very tedious process. You might make some user error mistakes if you're doing things like that. Probably more likely than not. So we want to make it easy and intuitive, as easy and intuitive as possible. But we also want to keep each other honest. So I just wanted to make a note of that because we don't want people going in and just clicking complete. Now, you can mark as incomplete at any time as well. So if I go, oh, you know what, I forgot to inspect the ceiling, I can mark as incomplete, jump into the ceiling, go ahead and add a finding here, if I need to. And then we can just mark it as complete again. There we go. So go ahead and jump out of that. Okay, so the one thing I want to demonstrate here is as you complete your different areas, you can, I marked, I think unit 555 as complete earlier. You'll see this little progress bar up top. So that'll kind of keep track of how, long your inspection is going to take, how far you in the inspection process, etc. When you can go to happy hour, when you're almost done, things like that. So I'm going to jump now into the inside areas. And the inside areas, very similar to the unit areas. These are your different, categories we have for the inspection. Very much the same. However, you can also edit details and photos. So you can add additional notes. Looks like I already did right here. And I added a photo of my wall as well. So you can just have, your additional notes, any photos you might take. You can add more areas if you want. You can select site-wide or a specific building. One thing that's nice if you're just doing Inspire standards, and you don't have a custom template where you have maybe, specialized areas, I guess, or unique areas such as like a garage building area or an outbuilding area or tool shed, etc. You can just click site-wide here. This is directly from feedback from our beta clients. And you can add any notes, and you could say like inside of tool shed, that doesn't have its own address, but it's on the property, and you can do a quick inspection there, right? It might not even be listed, and you can go ahead and add that area and jump in and do your inspection. You can also, from here, add any photos, select from gallery, etc. Just to make sure that you are, very detailed in your inspection, or as detailed as you'd like to be. Now, I also want to demonstrate, I think I forgot to show this, when I add a new unit area, you can select on the fly, your different occupancy status and your unit status as well. The unit area is the only area that has these fields, which makes sense because only units would have these fields. I just wanted to show, I think I forgot to show that. And then the same thing down here in your outside areas, you can add new area here, select a different inspector. Maybe you have multiple inspectors on site. So I can select, Brianna Kruder or session host to be an inspector on this one. Click OK. I can do another site wide. Maybe it's another like garage building, and I can make, garage, building on the south end of the lot, right? And we can add this area and it'll jump you right into the inspection as well. So you can inspect that area. And then you can also add, same thing, edit details, any photos. It'll pull these area notes here for you that you might have. Now, when working with multiple people, that we've got a solution for that. So when I click upload here, I'm going to have two options. Okay, I'm going to have overwrite all inspection data. That's going to reset everything. So I'm the source of truth. This inspection is the source of truth, right? But if you have multiple people, you might want to merge the inspectable area. Maybe the lead inspector already uploaded, their inspection data, and you've got some areas that you inspected that they don't have. That's when you'd want to merge the inspectable areas. Now, if you ever get kind of tied up, you go, oh, well, who merged when or who uploaded when? So, which is fine. If you click this overwrite all inspection data, see this little warning, all data will be replaced by the inspection data from this device. This becomes my source of truth. So I can click over, if you get jumbled up on who merged when, or there's an issue there, you can say, overwrite, I'll overwrite it, and then everybody else should just merge in after I overwrite it. If you just want to be crystal clear. So give this just a second, it's going to upload all of the photos, etc. Okay. And now that I uploaded it, that's how you upload to HFA. Now, if I go back to HFA, and I click into that inspection, it'll have those additional findings that I added already. And, the report that I generate in HFA will show those photos or all those, details. So you have two platforms here, the app, which I like the app. I'm a little partial because I worked very hard on this app with my team, but you can also use HFA. Now, here's another tab I want to show you. So here's the findings tab. Findings tab is going to have a list of, you guessed it, all of your different findings that you recorded. So this will have top, your life-threatening findings here that you recorded, and then severe findings. So, as you go through your inspection, sometimes it's nice just to look back, have a quick overview of like, oh yeah, we recorded this, or did you record that finding? And you can go look of the unit number or the area, building 156, that's that's tied to each finding. So that's just nice, kind of keep you, if something pops up while you're on the inspection, and you can go back and make sure that you did it. You can also add attendees. I'm going to add no attendees here. Looks like I don't have any attendees added, but I can go ahead and click add attendee, and I'll do, I'm going to add Frodo Baggins, and we'll do the role of property manager slash ring bearer here. And this is as I add an attendee, I'm not going to put email and phone number. You can if you want. Of course, you probably should for contact purposes. But we'll go ahead and save that. So that's the first, attendee, maybe, the property managers going along with you, or we can add, let's do Ashley Smith, and that'll be, owner agent maybe wants to come along, new property. They want to make sure everything's, looking good, looking a-okay. So I'll have Ashley on there, and any other attendees we'll do John, Carrie, and that'll be, our maintenance person, maintenance lead, we'll say. So this is just a keep if you want to record any attendees along the inspection, this is where you would record those. You can delete them if you want. And you can always go in and edit. Maybe you forgot, phone number, got their name wrong. You can always do that. And then, so this is just one thing I want to demonstrate here. It's really nice, and it'll appear in your report that you generate. So let's jump into reports. The reason why there aren't reports, I keep on kind of hanging because I thought I generated a report in here. Well, remember when I first signed in and I deleted all the account data? So that deleted everything from the device, right? So I wanted to, so this is, will show, it's kind of like a clean slate for you. If you do click that, then any past reports you generated will be removed from the device. So in our reporting, it's a little different, and I just want to show you, because there's a preview report, right? So instead of generating the report right away, it gives you a preview. Now, the reason why we want to do a preview of the report is because you might generate the report while the inspection's still active. You might want to, and I'll show you why. So if you click preview here, we'll do a full inspection report, okay? And you know what, we'll do an exigent report as well. So we'll click preview. So it just generated, two previews of these report. You can tell it's a preview because you just have a little eye here to look at the report. You can also see, it has the attendees added here, Ashley Smith, Frodo Baggins, and John Carey added just their initials. But if I click the view button, view this report, it'll give you this little view. See the UAT Housing Finance Agency that I'm in. This, I'm doing Garden Court Apartments in Denver. And then I'll have the, inspection details here. This is a general inspection. We're using the Inspire template. Primary inspector is Brian Procorem. And then the contact information here, HFA number, your status, units inspected, buildings inspected, the inspection date that was started. So I'll have your high level inspection details, your inspection summary of your different findings, which ones were critical, ones that were incorrected, right? And then I'll jump down into your unit area. I'm starting with the first one here, little breakdown. A lot of these don't have photos, which is why there's no link to photos, but let's find one that does. So this will be your different unit areas to start. I'm going to cruise through. And then remember when I think I added notes on 274. So this is a good way to demonstrate. If I click this view notes here, it's going to bring me right back to the notes page. So I can change these notes. I can do and you can probably see here. So this says ad hoc unit, couldn't enter unit 273. You'll see those notes right here. Ad hoc unit, couldn't enter unit 273. I can change these and I could say using, this unit instead, maybe just for something that makes sense, right? And I'll go ahead and click save area. Now, when this reloads, you'll see that my notes changed. Now, I can only do that because I'm in a preview of the report. Okay, if I generate the report, that generates a PDF that I can share and download and send and airdrop and all those fun things. So I just want to make sure that so if you can, if you want to be editing the report in preview mode as you're going through the inspection or you're reviewing the inspection report and you want to add some additional notes, you can definitely do that. Okay. And I want maybe go up here too. So I only had a few inspection level notes where I said routine inspection every 3 years. So I only had like a very short sentence. But this is where you might have like a paragraph or two, of the inspection summary where you might write like more additional detail or any like type of cover letter, that your agency might have as well, right under the inspection summary here. I just wanted to showcase that. So besides the notes here, we can jump down. So here's one with some photos. This will show you the different photos. Right now I have photos per page of 8, and that'll show in the PDF. But you can change the amount of photos per page as well. So this one has, this will jump you straight to the photos here. Okay, this is my life-threatening, the fire extinguisher service tag that we went over. If I go ahead and click view finding here, it'll jump me right back into this finding. There's a notification. I did mark this area as complete, so I'm going to have to change it to incomplete if I want to make any changes. But I just want to showcase, I forgot to add this note on the finding, or I forgot to take a photo of that finding. As you review the report, you can jump back in, take a photo, and that'll populate in the report in preview mode. And you can always generate or preview more reports. So if you generate one and you go, oh, I want to use a different one because I want to make edits, and you click preview, generate preview, and generate that actual report. We are getting close to time, so I'm going to try and hurry up through the rest of this. But as you scroll down, you'll see those attendees I added at the bottom here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click generate report. So as I click generate report, this will open back up and it'll be a PDF view of that same report. You'll see I have a share button now. So I can click share, and you can share AirDrop. You can send a message, Outlook, Teams, whatever you use, email. You can share this report. If it's an exigent report, and you don't have service. This is a feature I tested, which I really like is, if you're offline, you can AirDrop the report to the property manager if they need it. And then you can scroll down here and it'll show, this is the same report, routine inspection every 3 years. You'll show that these don't have photos, these ones don't have photos. Breakthrough, the unit number here, the line item, the location, any details, any notes you might have added, the due date, right? Was it corrected, etc. And then as I scroll down and find one of the photos, just want to demonstrate a cool feature. Here's one. Oh, here's the fire extinguisher one, so I'll have that corrected date. I said it was corrected on 10/23 already. So that's good. And you can click photos here and it'll jump you straight to the different photos. So as you're in the PDF view, you know, you can still navigate around. It won't jump you into the app. So if I click view finding here, it'll jump me right back to this kind of finding page, you know, at the top, the finding summary page, instead of going to like where I added that finding in the app. And that's because the report is generated. And as you scroll down here, we'll go to the bottom. I'll just show that we have all of our attendees added as well, right? And since this has more photos, you know, and I set that photos per page to 8, you can have, you know, photos listed together like this in sequence if you have multiple photos. Okay. Looks like this breaks down to this page as well. So there's 3 more photos of that. And then you'll see the ones with 1 photo will just be right here, and any additional ones will be listed after that finding. So that's the way we did our report. You know, I think it works really well, especially the sharing capability, and it's easy to navigate around. The HFA reports don't look quite like this yet. This is using newer technology, so it looks, you know, a little bit more modern. But we are going to have a story to, you know, update the reports in HFA to look a little bit more like this. So as I go over here, here's our exigent report. You can view this as well. You know, this will just be your critical findings marked, and then it'll just, you know, have the same kind of overlay. So this is the one that you might want to generate on site, okay, and then go ahead and airdrop it or share it if it's a multi-day inspection. Okay, so the one thing I just wanted to demonstrate as well is, okay, I generated those, I can't edit them anymore. Oh no, I forgot to, you know, to do something that I want to change on the report. That's fine. You can just click preview again, go ahead and do a full inspection in an exigent if you want, or we'll just do full inspection. We'll preview it, boom, it created a new report. You can make any changes you want here. You can jump back into the view finding. We can view a finding, make any changes. That all appear back in the report as well. So, you know, you can generate as many as you like here. Okay, so that is the application, the mobile application we created, kind of end to end. There's a few more things in my presentation I'll get to. I need to hurry through. But yeah, please reach out to us if you have any questions or want, you know, to walk through a specific use case, or just want to see it again and talk about it. So please reach out to marketing@prolinksolutions.com if you'd like to learn some more. This is the newest release. It's in production. It was released today officially, and we're really excited for our beta clients and our user base to dig into these new features, you know, that we have. It really provides a full end-to-end, you know, inspection solution that we can all use. So I'm going to just go ahead and stop sharing on my iPad. Right. And I'm going to bring up here, share screen 2. And we'll do this in presentation mode. Think it's in presentation mode. 1 second here. Should be, well, there we go. Okay. So we do have a polling question. I'm going to go ahead and read it. This is just on a topic we're kind of discussing right now for scoring. So How does your state agency handle inspection report scoring? Here are the answer choices. We do not score inspection reports. We use the HUD Inspire scoring method, and then we use our own agency specific scoring method. So I'm going to go ahead and give just 30 seconds to answer that. And then we'll show the answers on the next screen. If if you could please answer that poll question, we'd sure appreciate it. Thanks.
Hey, Connor, you can advance to the next slide.
Great. Thank you, Sam. Okay. No answers, Sam, or?
Let's see. I can just read them off. There may be a delay. So 9 responses said we do not score inspection reports. 7 responses said we use the HUD Inspire scoring method. And then 8 said we use our own agency specific scoring method.
Okay. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Because that's something we're thinking about adding right now is the scoring and how we do that, right? So it's dynamic for people using HUD maybe and people using their own, but also so that you can maybe configure it yourselves. Thank you for that feedback. Okay, so there's a couple really cool things that we're working on that I want to talk about. We have a current trial client or a few trial clients right now that are they have many features and amenities that are different between each property that they have. They have about 500 properties in their portfolio. And so they're doing the Inspire inspection, okay? But each property also has its own specific line items added to Inspire that they need to inspect. So this introduces property specific property specific items. So this is a cool way to add property specific line items without creating new templates. Because I mentioned before, you can create your own custom templates, right? If you want to use Inspire plus, any additional line items or additional areas you might want, or classifications, etc., categories, all those fun things. But if you have 500 different properties and each one is unique, do you really want to create 500 different templates? I mean, that's a lot of templates, and you got to select the templates that you're going to use, right, when you go on an inspection. So you'd have this list of 500 different templates. I mean, you can do a keyword search, but that you might, that you have to select from. So we have a very clever solution that our development team, not me, I didn't come up with this, but our development team came up with, and that is assigning items to properties. So instead of having all these different templates, you could have maybe a master list of all of the additional items you have for these different properties. There's probably a few that correlate, that match between different properties, right? And then you would assign that inspection item to a property instead, one to many. So then when you pull up you might have one custom template to have that new custom template that has all of those different line items added to the different areas associated with that property. So your unit area would have any additional line items, accessibility line items associated with that property to that unit area. So it'd be property specific, right? So we're really excited about that. It is one of those harder problems, right? It's not like it's not intuitive. It's not just loading in additional data. There's a lot of complexity in tying each line item one to many specific properties in getting that to show up correctly in the application. So we're really excited about this. We think this is a great solution to a tough problem that different agencies have, to have one application that's dynamic and can fit everyone's needs. So this is another feature coming we're really excited about. And I wanted to talk about custom templates as well. I know I've mentioned this before, but there's multiple applications to custom templates. And one thing that we found, in our discovery with our beta clients, and other, owner agents that we might be talking to or working with, is not everybody does Inspire inspections, or they do Inspire inspections, but they also do lots of other different inspections. Namely, they want to do file reviews, right? They want to do file reviews. And so we're developed a way where you can create your own custom templates. They don't have to be Inspire inspections. You can use the same app to do file reviews, right? You can change these different line items to make sure that a date's corrected, the name looks good, whatever information you're looking at in a file review, and mark those off and generate a report that reflects that file review inspection. Same thing for construction inspections that you might have, or regular maintenance inspections, that you might have to do, or your different properties have to do. And so we've kind of struck like, oh, we built this originally for Inspire, but it's really scalable to a lot of different inspections. And, we can use the same intuitive tool, easy to use tool, that's mobile, to tackle a lot of these problems, different inspections. So we're really excited about that. So this doesn't have to be just isolated to Inspire. And that's one thing that I wanted to showcase here. I know I talked about custom templates before, but just to kind of restate, you can completely change your different areas, add new ones, remove different areas, add categories, subsections, different line items, all the detail, your classifications. It's all completely configurable, right? And fits into the device the same way as I just showed you as the out of the box Inspire standard inspection. So this is something that we're really excited about as well, because how nice would it be to do an Inspire inspection and then do your file review, using the same application right there. Now, Bree just showed her pretty face, so she is trying to tell me it is time to stop. We have Q&A. I think that's being done in the chat, and I just wanted to say thank you, and please reach out to marketing at ProLink Solutions if you'd like to talk more. Thanks so much. I'll hand it off to Bree now.
Good job, Connor. Thank you very much. All right, let me just pull up my notes here, make sure I don't miss anything. Yes, please, if you have any questions or if you want us to reach out to you about Procorem Inspect, shoot us an email, put something in the chat. We'd be happy to follow up on any questions you might have. It's always fun to build a new tool at ProLink. So great job to the ProLink team and our clients who betaed and contributed to this project, which was born out of our user group 2 years, I think. Yeah, almost, I guess, a little year and a half or so ago. So, all right, so then just wrapping up before our next session, we do now have a 15-minute break and we'll host our first coffee and bagel. This is a feature to encourage some discussions and interactions in a virtual conference setting. So please join to meet and greet with your fellow attendees and with ProLinkers. I'm going to go over there right now as well for 15 minutes. And then our next session will be at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. So please be there for that. Let me make sure I cover what session. So that session is going to be configuring dev for home, and then also new funding programs. It'll be presented by Kelly and Sinias. Again, that starts at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. So until then, you have a break, and we will see you in Coffee and Bagel. Thank you.